You can spend frivolous amounts of money on a buffet in Vegas. Previously on this channel, we went to the most expensive buffet, which was like $80 or something.
Hey!
Now we're going to be more modest though, and we're gonna go to the cheapest buffet in Las Vegas, and some also say it's the worst rated buffet in Las Vegas.
Oh my.
The Circus Buffet! Raise the roof!
Clowns, clowns, clowns. Trapeze. All I'm saying is there better be someone on a tricycle running around this buffet room. You get the bang for your buck at Circus. Cheap ass rooms, cheap ass buffet. They have a free circus in there. It isn't a joke. There's actually a circus in there that's free.
When we were walking up to Circus, we started to smell sewer.
It is funny that Vegas is the buffet capital of the world when the whole strip smells like shit.
Every now and then you just get a whiff of poop, and I'm pretty sure that's because they water the plants with sewer water. I don't know if that's just a myth, but that's what I heard once.
It's recycling, but it does make everything smell like crap.
We have smelled some poop, but now we're walking into the hotel, and now we have a quite better smell. It smells like cigarettes that have been lingering in the building for 50 years. I would pick that smell over sewer smell. So I was already on a cloud. I was happy.
Take me back.
We entered the buffet, and the buffet costs $24.95 for breakfast/brunch. I think for dinner it's a little bit more. Circus Buffet has a 2.9 on Google. Saw a cockroach on the buffet table. That's obviously really gross, but they also could be lying.
On TripAdvisor, it has 3 stars. Truly awful and low quality. Eating at the Circus Buffet was the biggest regret of our trip to Las Vegas. The food was so low quality and the price is truly unjustified. Blah, blah, blah. They go on for 3 more paragraphs. What could have gone wrong that ruined the whole vacation? That makes me think the whole vacation it sucked even regardless of this buffet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lastly, it has the worst reviews on Yelp. It has a 1.9. Very bad. All around bad. Don't do it.
But you know Jacob and I, we don't listen to anyone, so we are not listening to that guy. We're doing it! We are not gonna listen to don't do it. We're doing it.
It was very easy to get a table. There was like a little line, but nothing too crazy. When you get sat, you start to notice like, oh, they did kind of do a remodeling maybe. Some of the buffet does seem like they cleaned it up in 2005.
The colored paneling and the new wallpaper in the front, I feel like that was done in the last 12 months. Like that is vibrant. And even this little hypnotizing thing, kind of a circus, you know, wouldn't you picture a clown would hypnotize you?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's all tying together, the theme. Our table was freshly cleaned. It was still wet.
So we got up and we were ready to munch. I was honestly really hungry. And we immediately noticed that the omelette or eggs your way station wasn't open. We were there probably 3 hours after this had been open, so it's not like we were the first customers. It just simply wasn't open.
And we still had to pay the full price. When you actually think about it, that's pretty effed up. Where was the omelet man?
Whenever I'm at a breakfast buffet, I get an omelet. And if you look below, they had all of the toppings, bell peppers, onions. I would have just said, can I get an omelet with everything? Immediately, I didn't feel like I was in a circus. I felt like I was in hell? I'm joking, that's an exaggeration.
They could have had some circus man behind there flipping up the omelets, doing all this fun stuff. If it's gonna be called the Circus Buffet, there needs to be some circus elements.
Oh yeah.
Someone throwing flapjacks, juggling omelets.
We'll just spoil that whole question. Was it circus themed? Yes, there was colorful elements throughout the buffet, but there was no clowns. Plate 1! Both of us grabbed a plate and they were clean. The reason why I'm mentioning this is simply because the reviews of this place are horrible, so I just want to mention anything that they're doing good. This was the classic hearty, savory breakfast section. Eggs, sausage, bacon, hash browns.
This was basically the section you get at Comfort Inn for the free breakfast. But again, reading the reviews, I was surprised how everything was tidy. Like I thought eggs would be all over the table, everything would be thrown around, but I don't know if it's because it just wasn't busy that that day, but it wasn't like, no one got it grimy, you know?
Next to that little section, there was some French toast, do-it-yourself type stuff, biscuits and gravy, and country fried steak.
Oh, for the down-home type people. Whenever someone likes biscuits and gravy for breakfast, I just picture like they're around cows a lot of the day, they're sitting on the porch. I loaded up with a reasonable portion of chorizo, eggs, and bacon.
I have noticed that chorizo is really infiltrating the American restaurants and buffets.
Yeah, it's kind of a trend, I would say.
I just got classic eggs, potatoes, and a biscuit.
Without gravy.
I just wasn't in the gravy vibe because I guess I was just having images in my head. When I was seeing the gravy, I was picturing like an old man's chin. And that kind of hint, that's why I didn't get it, if I'm being completely honest.
The chorizo eggs were good. I always just hate eggs on any buffet. I just hate the vibe of scooping out eggs onto a plate. They're always kind of dry and gross. But I feel like the greasy chorizo added some oomph to them. Like it made them more palatable. It felt very like DIY homemade. You know what I mean? This gives more the vibe of cooking it up at your house. Like very simple, but I guess this also is like a family buffet, so they need these more simple foods, right? For these annoying ass picky kids. You know, bacon at any buffet, it's the same across the board. Even if you went to the most expensive buffet in Vegas, this is what the bacon would be like, I believe. I was pleased.
Watching this footage just makes me look like the most pretentious, annoying, rich type person. Just so you guys know where I was coming from when we were filming this, I just got done reading the worst reviews about this buffet, reading just negative stuff about this buffet, and it was so difficult to jump over that hurdle of all that negativity.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just knew we were going to the worst buffet. I didn't read any specific reviews, so I was more free with my eating. Whereas you kind of look like you're on Fear Factor.
I was honestly surprised that someone else at the buffet didn't go up to me and say, "Why are you even here if you're just eating like you're eating out of the trash? Like, didn't you pay money to go here? Like, why are you so annoying?"
Like literally just eating normal eggs, but you're acting like it's like worms.
These were just the typical fake eggs.
Yeah, I mean, they're not cracking that many eggs for any buffet.
But my safe haven was with the biscuit. It just felt so comforting eating this biscuit, even though I was eating it very slowly, simply because I knew no one touched it. And this is like a children's buffet, so it's even more gross because all these children don't wash their hands and stuff and they pick their nose. I do pick my nose sometimes, but when children do it, it's more gross. I would say the biscuit was the best part of plate one for me. We were going up to the buffet again, and I saw this little sign that I didn't notice before. It does say that no eating is allowed while self-serving food. So I did point that out to Lucas because there has been times where you eat at the buffet line because you're too impatient. But that's actually illegal at this buffet.
I know a lot of people heard that rule and were like, what kind of animal would even do that anyway? But I'm literally one of those people. Like, I've been at many buffets and I just can't wait. Especially when there's all these long lines. It's like, I'm just gonna eat and then get another plate right here. But I understand that's unhygienic and I probably spread many illnesses through my actions.
We noticed that there was an entire section of the buffet that wasn't being used.
Maybe this is more for the dinner portion of the buffet, or do we get scammed out of more breakfast items, not just the omelet bar?
I'm not sure, but I was kind of just saddened that there wasn't more food here, because more makes me happy, less makes me unhappy. Mama! So the buffet wasn't really giving Las Vegas cool buffet. It was pretty small. This is a buffet we could find where we live in the Midwest.
Yeah, bringing it back to the hotel breakfast I mentioned, this would just be a Comfort Inn buffet. Maybe a Comfort Inn buffet with 10% more. Are you fucking kidding me?
Liquids.
Diet Coke this early in the morning?
There's no rules.
I got water because I do have rules for myself. I don't know why I have a rule that I can't have Diet Coke this early in the morning, but I do have that rule. And I feel like if I break that rule, it would be very bad. And they also had coffee, juice, milk. Lucas did point out that they only had whole milk.
Definitely shade towards skim milk people. Like just subtle shade to just kind of bring them down a little bit.
It was kind of a hate crime how they only had whole milk, you could say.
Yeah.
Plate 2.
I hit up the jelly toast section. The toast was so thick too. Like it wasn't this little thin, measly thing. It was like a big trampoline type bread. Did I get white or whole? I don't really remember.
You're white.
Oh, that's what type of bread I got. So to balance out all the sins I was committing on this trip, I did get whole wheat bread, had some health to my life, and I put it in this fancy toaster contraption, which I feel like I've only seen at like swanky type places.
I was genuinely surprised that you used that toaster because from my eyes, it just looked so gross. Like it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a while. But I also did think what you were thinking too. Like, oh, that toaster, I'm guessing if you bought it new would be like a I don't know, but a couple $1,000.
Yeah, like you wouldn't just picture they would have had some little shitty Temu like pressed down toasters. And also I realized that this toasting device gets the toast perfect. Like I remember I've always thought that toast was supposed to be kind of burnt, you know? It's just how it always is.
Yeah.
But then when I've ordered toast at like bougie type places, it always is like this, just slightly toasted.
So the circus buffet knows how to do the toast right.
Yeah, this was a 5-star toast experience.
I sort of went to the other side of the buffet and I realized that it's technically just a repeat of the buffet we started at, but they do have subtle differences. Like instead of having potatoes, they have hash browns. They also had chicken patties. That's so random. This bacon gave me a lifeline.
You were about to die.
What I'm trying to say is the bacon was just excellent. And I know it just is bacon. They don't have to do anything. Like, oh, you just put it in a ding. But I still think they deserve a star for the bacon because it was really good. This triangle hash brown was good. And I do think it's kind of a moment that they chose the triangle hash browns instead of the rectangle ones. But I will admit, the hash brown did kind of taste like sweat. And I've noticed that before with food. Sometimes food can just taste like a minor odor of sweat.
Because of the grease?
Maybe that's what causes it. And I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. Have you ever been done working out? And this sounds disgusting, but I have done it. And you really sweat, and you like just wiped your forehead and licked your hands.
Oh, that's the best.
And it kind of is like, oh, obviously like that is gross, but it honestly kind of tastes good. So I'm not gonna say it tasted like sweat ruined the hash brown. It kind of added, in my opinion.
The sausage was just the right amount of greasy. On this exact Vegas trip, I later had some sausages that crossed my personal line of greasiness. This one didn't. It was the perfect amount of greasy and just so juicy and fatty. Ugh, breakfast sausage is so good. I think I'm more of a sausage person than a bacon person. But then the weird thing is, if I get a breakfast burrito, I want it to be bacon. Make it make sense.
Go to therapy already! Go to therapy and use my code, because I want that commission! Now we're diving into this chicken patty, and I simply don't need to do a review because this is the classic school cafeteria spongy chicken patty. And they just went to the grocery store, went to the frozen section, put a few chicken patties in the oven for 20 minutes, put them on the buffet table, and I honestly didn't hate it, but I was like, oh, this costed 50 cents or less, I'm going to assume.
I wonder what their vision was. Like, did they picture you having that, gravy over it, eggs on the side? Is that what they're picturing? Or is that more they're picturing you using and making it into a sandwich?
I kind of had a feeling that they didn't have a vision.
They ordered a bunch of stuff and that slipped into the order, so they were just like, let's just make it, I guess. And every single day, every single one they make goes into the trash.
But they keep making it because they have a bunch left.
Plate 3!
For this plate, I decided to get into some risky business. I noticed that there was a part of the buffet that was the most random part of the buffet. There was French toast sticks. There was regular French toast. There was biscuits and gravy, and then there was noodles. It didn't say what type of noodles, but from looking at them, they are ramen noodles, top ramen.
And I was very shocked when I saw this, because it just gives the vibe of you're a drunk 19-year-old and this is sitting on the stove when you get back from the bar, you know? I know ramen is getting really popular, but this gives more of just like ramen you get like for the 99 cents at the store. I kind of felt like I'd already tried everything I wanted to try at this buffet, but I did notice there was some melons sitting in a little container. And at first when I saw them, I was kind of grossed out because it was just like 3 left, but they ended up refilling it. So I was like, oh, let me get some of the fresh ones on top. It was some fresh melons. Those melons were ripe for picking.
So the flavor of the ramen wasn't really familiar with me. Usually I have chicken ramen. This one was a flavor of tap ramen I haven't had yet. It was a little bit spicy. After having one bite, I actually stopped eating. And the reason why I was grossed out is because when I was grabbing the noodles from the buffet, a lot of the noodles actually touched the entire buffet before getting to my plate.
They were hanging down and dangling.
But the ramen noodles weren't gross. It just was, I guess I just wasn't craving them. And also, why am I eating that at a buffet? It's like 99 cents at the grocery store.
But when you bit into it though, not talking about the flavor, did it have the same texture as top ramen?
Yeah.
They probably just go to some like huge outlet and just buy the cheapest shit then, right? And throw it on the buffet.
And I love the cantaloupe. Sometimes for breakfast I have half a cantaloupe, so it felt like very traditional to me. Random tidbit time. Readers of the Las Vegas Review Journal voted the buffet as Las Vegas's worst buffet for 7 straight years, starting in 2001. This is when my mind imploded. I always assumed that when a business or a person got hate, it was only for a decade. But this buffet has been hated since literally the 90s, and now it's 2025, and people still are consistently saying it's the worst buffet in Vegas, it's the worst buffet in Vegas. Being hated on for that long, it's gonna ruin you. I'm viewing them as like a baby now. It's like, oh, I want your inner child to shine. Like, you've been hated, you've been viewed as the outcast. I want to show you the world. Like, this is so sad that this baby had to endure this.
But that's what people are doing to it. Not me. I was playing the reviewers. That's what they're doing repeatedly.
Beating up a baby.
I know, it actually is effed up.
Plate 4! Lucas opened this pot and we saw soup in it, and since we're both closed-minded, we both were like, ew, who's having soup at breakfast? But while I was looking over the footage, I saw that there was a sign for the soup, menudo, and I googled what that is. How do you think you would say that?
Menudo?
Is a traditional Mexican soup made with cow's stomach and broth, blah, blah, blah.
Cow stomach?
Yeah, I guess so.
That just shocked me at first, but I realized that we eat pig butt all the time.
Yeah,
so I mean, I can't really hate.
Now that I know that that soup is a Mexican dish, it kind of makes me realize that they were kind of making this buffet, you could say, an international breakfast buffet. The soup was Mexican. The ramen noodles were probably trying to be for some part of Asia. I'm not sure what part.
The biscuits and gravy were for the southern folk. French toast for the French.
Yeah.
Wait, were there even pancakes and waffles at this buffet?
No.
That is weird.
I was honestly just confused. We both were, because we saw a sign saying oatmeal, and then there was just a bunch of tortilla chips. We were both thinking, wait, so the employee that set up the buffet was just high or something, because why did the tortilla chips say oatmeal? But then we saw beside the tortilla chips, there was like a canister full of oatmeal, so it wasn't a lie.
Some porridge.
We actually decided to make this round at the buffet tapas. We're gonna share everything. Oh my gosh, so fun!
Small plates.
I decided to dig into the tortilla chips. There was a few toppings, but I wanted to have them plain. These tortilla chips also kind of tasted like sweat. How could you hate on a tortilla chip? If you hate on any tortilla chip, I'm just going to make the assumption that you deep down hate yourself.
Oh, for sure. That goes without saying.
And then I dug into the honeydew melon and all of the fruit at the buffet. They actually just had cantaloupe and honeydew melon. Was excellent. I have nothing to say. Right now, I am gonna give Lucas a little lesson on melons, because you said at the buffet, you're not familiar with melons. You were like, what are melons? You kept saying melons are women's boobs, right? And I was like, no, they're like a food.
It's a whole world I haven't really dove into.
So I found this diagram on the internet, but I realized that I am not in the position to give you a lesson, because all I can teach you about is watermelon, what you already know, cantaloupe, what you already know.
No, I actually don't. Like, I'm not even trying to be like, oh, I'm so cute and I'm a blonde hot girl, but like, if you asked me if a cantaloupe is orange or green, I wouldn't have known.
And I also know what honeydew melon, that's green. We also got a bowl of oatmeal, and we added some raisins and granola into it. I usually have oatmeal for breakfast, so I was very excited, and I got to say, it tasted good. The oatmeal was just plain oatmeal, no sugar added or anything. This has nothing to do with the circus buffet, but I always do kind of think this type of oatmeal is gross. The texture of it is kind of gross, but I'm also down to eat it. I'm not so grossed out, but it is a weird texture.
I prefer like the Quaker one you use in the microwave, where it gets all hardened and there's like a little milk layer and it's all separated. Like that's more of a fun vibe to me. And to be honest, when I ate it, the only thing I enjoyed was the granola, because the oatmeal had no flavor, because we didn't even add brown sugar to it.
You didn't have tapas with anything else. You only had tapas with the oatmeal.
Oh yeah, I didn't try any of the other tapas. So actually you were just eating by yourself.
Plate 5! This was going to be the dessert plate, and they had a few options. They had muffins, pastries, carrot cake. All of it looked very cute.
And all was very aesthetic sitting there.
I wanted to add some ice cream on top of my carrot cake, and I saw there was 2 ice cream machines, but the ice cream machines weren't on. And I know this is a breakfast buffet, so you can give them that, but I just think they have an ice cream machine, so just turn it on.
I know, we paid 25 effing bucks. The ice cream machine should be on and flowing and creaming.
In the corner, they had a few cereals, so I just added some cereal on top because I needed something else other than carrot cake. And the Fruit Loops tasted normal, obviously. Jacob, stop talking about the Fruit Loops. Move on to something else.
Look at us eating so elegantly. Are we at the Buckingham Palace?
Watching this footage, it kind of feels like we were doing a subtle flex on everyone, trying to make everyone gag.
I know, like we've been to etiquette class.
I don't know why.
Our dad is the governor. For some reason, I didn't want to touch mine. Because I was grossed up on my own hands.
I was like, if you don't want to touch it, why are you even eating it?
So I thought just more of a fork and knife moment would be cute. Mine was like a pastry thing with a bunch of jelly in the middle. Is this a bear claw? I always love stuff with jelly in the middle.
You can't go wrong.
You really can't with something that looks like this. I don't know if it's our primal instincts because it looks like a vagina, but like people are just always attracted to this type of dessert.
My dessert was kind of healthy because it's carrot cake, and I was so surprised when I found this out, but carrot cake actually has carrot. You tasted it and said, ew, it tasted like carrots, but then I said, yeah, it's carrot cake.
But I swear this is the first carrot cake where I actually could taste vegetables in it.
It is hidden most of the time. I feel like this carrot cake did have a more distinct carrot flavor, which I wouldn't say is bad. It's kind of a different type of thing.
Get a serving of veggies in with your dessert, how about? 6.
Don't say that! Take that back right now! This was also going to be kind of a tapas plate. I kept seeing the French toast and I had to try it because they had all these syrups and toppings to choose from. I decided to get French toast sticks instead of like a piece of French toast, and I added some blueberries on top.
There's something about turning something into a stick form that makes it so good.
I think it's because it's like finger food.
I know, we love finger food, humans.
Even though it's kind of funny because we aren't even eating it with our fingers.
Oh, yeah.
But
we are very elegant here.
these were the typical French toast sticks that you have in your freezer right now. I actually don't have French toast sticks in my freezer right now, but I'm assuming someone watching does, and I don't really have anything bad to say. They just were French toast sticks, and the blueberry drizzle did add, definitely.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I agree that they're like the typical frozen French food sticks.
French toast.
French toast sticks. But you know how usually when you make those at home, they're all soggy? Where these were more hard, like, I feel like they actually dunked them into a deep fat fryer.
There was effort put in.
I know, because it was like actually had a crunch kind of. It was like, okay, like this isn't some soggy piece of shit. It tasted very carnival-y.
Which kind of goes with the circus. Hey! Oh, I don't think I would ever go back to this buffet again, simply because I didn't enjoy anything that much.
Yeah, nothing's calling me back.
Nothing stood out to me, but I definitely wouldn't say it's like the worst buffet in the entire world.
It might be the worst in Vegas. Because we all know Vegas is the buffet capital, and usually they go above and beyond, where this was very comfort-in vibes.
But
every other buffet I've had in Vegas, I liked more.
One of the pros of the buffet, though, is that we both felt more free after. Both of us realized, let's unleash our inner clown. Let's bring joy to the world, juggle, be silly, and just have